Hi guys, if you are watching me now, you've probably seen all the countdown videos, short videos I did on my channel, and I think that you really want to know what the life event I kept on mentioning is about. So to better understand how I got to this point and to making this decision, we need to go back in time to when I was around 8 years old, I think. So throughout the whole years of primary school, I was bullied. I was bullied every single day by the same boy, which even now I can still remember his face. And the reason why I was bullied was because of my weight. I wasn't a fat kid. However, I was larger than the rest in the class, and that boy decided that it would be brilliant to pick on me. My parents never knew about it. Me and my sister, we grew up with my grandmother, and my nan actually found out that I was bullied throughout primary school only a few weeks ago when I told her on the phone. So I kept all that inside, and because of what happened to me in primary school, all the bullying that happened around my weight and the way I look, I grew up with no confidence whatsoever, with a very low self-esteem. If you believe me, I've never in my life wore a swimsuit. I've never been to the beach because I knew if I go to the beach I will need to wear one, and I have never been comfortable or confident enough to actually get myself to wear one. I never used to eat in front of people that I didn't know or I barely knew. The only ones I used to eat in front of was my family. Even when I was in high school, I would literally hide myself in the toilets if I wanted to eat. That's how I always had the impression that people will, as soon as they will see me eat, they would say, look at her, how big she is, why is she eating? That's how I grew up, and it all started with the bullying I got in primary school for my weight. I wasn't overweight, I was still a healthy weight. However, I was, like I said, bigger than the rest of the kids in the school. And so I grew up, and that's how, when I was a teenager, I think that those are the worst years when it comes to your body image, to your confidence, especially in girls. And it got worse and worse for me, and I closed myself off from people around me. I had friends, but I had very few friends. I had boyfriends, but I only had boyfriends because I accepted any boy who liked me, because I thought, oh, look at me, I'm so big, I'm so fat, no one is going to like me, right? So this boy likes me, it's fine, we can be boyfriends and girlfriends. And so when I was around 18, it was even before I was 18, I started one of my long-term relationships, which turned out to be an abusive relationship. I was a victim of domestic violence for a lot of years, if I'm honest with you. 2 long-term relationships that I had, both of them involved domestic abuse and violence. The first relationship started when I was under 18 years of age. He was abusive, he was aggressive, he was an alcoholic as well. He was in his 20s, I think. And that's when I started learning about domestic violence, and I accepted him, and I always forgave him, because at the back of my mind there was always the thing that, look at you, how fat you look, how big you look, how ugly you are, no one else is going to accept you. So I just went on with it. And then eventually my dad, he came home for a visit from the UK, because he used to live in the UK. Me and my sister and my nan, we used to live back in Romania. And that's when I managed to actually get rid of that relationship without my dad finding out about it, about the fact that that man was abusive to me. And then a bit later, again, I think it was all because of feeling very insecure about myself. I didn't see myself being alone. without being in a relationship. And so I met another man, and and it was a really good relationship at first. This was after I was 18 years old. This was after I've already turned 18 years old. I finished with the other abusive relationship, and we had a really good relationship for the first 6 or so months, and then he asked me to marry him, and I said yes, of course. I just, I said, oh my god, this man loves me, look, he wants me to marry him, I'm good enough for him, whatever. So yeah, I said yes. We got married. It wasn't so long after the marriage, maybe a month or 2 or 3 or so, when we started having financial problems, and that's when this relationship also turned very violent. Again, beatings, always being drunk, always smashing things about, always so many things. Always talking to me, putting me down all the time. Always the money was always with him. I worked, I never had any money. Whenever I got my wage, the wage went to him. And then we decided to leave Romania and go to Hungary, because he said that he has someone there who can give us work, and better paid work. So we went to Hungary. We worked for a while. Again, I didn't have any money whatsoever. Always the money were with him. If I wanted some money to buy something for myself, I had to call my nan in Romania and ask her to send me some money. And then we both lost our jobs, and we moved from one city to another. So we ended up in the capital city of Hungary, in Budapest, and we used to live in a house shared with a lot of people. It was a shared house. It was literally like we were maybe 10 people in a room. And that's when he was drunk, he raped me, and we got into a really bad argument in another time, and he put the knife to my throat, and I was very lucky that there were a lot of people around and they saw everything, and so they got involved in it. And after a while, okay, I forgave him again, because anyway I didn't really have much choice. I was in a foreign country with no money of my own, with nothing, and so I said I forgot about it, and he started working again. So he went to work, and one day I found out where a train station was, and I knew that there will be vans and drivers going to Romania. And so I went there to the train station. I luckily found a driver, and I told him if he can call my nan. I gave him her phone number. If he can call my nan and tell her that I am going, and if she can wait for me back home, then she can pay for the trip. So the driver agreed with that. I explained to him all the situation, and he agreed with that. So he took me home in Romania. My nan was waiting for me at the station in Romania, and she paid for the trip. She paid for the ticket. I was very lucky with the driver, because these drivers, they don't usually just take you without any payment up front. So he did do that. He took me, and my nan paid for it. And then there were a couple of weeks until he found out where I am. He found out where I am, and so he went back to Romania, to where I was. He pretended like nothing happened. He was just, oh my god, I love you so much, oh look, we are together again, and so on and so forth. And I kept on going with him. The reason was because I was so scared of him that I could never say no. Whenever he said, oh please forgive me, let's get back together, I could never say no to him. I was so scared of him. We lived in the same city. He lived in the apartment I lived in, my dad's apartment. He lived in it with me. And so he was, I am from a small city. We knew each other, everybody knew each other in the area. There was no way I could ever get rid of him or leave him without him finding me. And so we carried on, and then he got the idea to get here to the UK. And so after all the arrangements were done, we came to the UK. We paid someone. There was a lady here that she was married with a British man. She's a Romanian lady. She was married with a British man. They used to take houses on mortgages, and they used to rent these houses room by rooms to foreigners, to Romanian in particular, Romanian people. They would bring these people here. We would pay a small fee to her, and then she would deduct that fee from our wages. So once we got here, this lady, she would sort out all the documentation for us. It was nothing illegal. They did everything legally. They even helped us open bank accounts. They even helped us find jobs, and they gave us rooms in houses. So it was okay in terms of we had our own room. We weren't so many people in the house as such. I mean, they were like 4 or 5 rooms, double rooms, and one room was for one person. So it's very common, this kind of renting in London, for example. However, we came to Birmingham. After a couple of weeks, they found us jobs in cleaning. We were both working. Again, I never saw my money. I never saw my documents. The money, the documents were always with him. Obviously, the abuse happened, still carried on happening. He would always put his hands to my throat, trying to strangle me, so I shut up so I don't argue with him anymore. And I knew my dad was in London, but I didn't really want anything to do with him at that point. And like I said, because of my weight and everything, I thought that I don't deserve any better, and I won't find a better man than him. And after a couple of months of being in Birmingham, that's where I met Angelo, who is my husband. He came from Italy into the same shared house through the same lady, and after some time of seeing how my then husband behaved with me, my current husband told me, why don't you just go to London to your dad and just leave him? And that's when I had enough courage to actually do it. Especially I knew that I'm going to London. He's never going to be able to find me there because he doesn't know London. He's never been to London. It's a huge city, London, so it will be impossible for him to find me there. And so I called my dad, and I told him, although I haven't spoken to my dad in ages, I called my dad and I told him, come pick me up. I can't do it anymore with him. And in that weekend, he just came and he picked me up, and we left for London. My then husband was supposed to go to work on that Saturday, but I said, oh, I'm not going to work because I'm not feeling so well. And for some reason he didn't want to go to work either on the Saturday when my dad planned to get over there and pick me up. And so I packed everything in front of my then husband, with my dad in the room and another man as well. My dad brought someone just in case things get out of hand. And my then husband, he just couldn't say anything. He just couldn't do anything. He was scared of people. He was scared of other men, my then husband, but he wasn't scared of me. So he could do things to me, but you know, yeah, that's how we went. And so I went with my dad to London, and after a long while, my current husband, he came to London to see me. And that's where I am at right now. And so my life-changing event is going to be, I know that this took a long while for me to actually reveal, but I had to explain everything and to explain to you how I got to this point. So my life-changing event is going to be a gastric bypass surgery, which I'm going to have in the next few days on the 8th of November. I think that this video will be published on the day of my surgery. I can't record myself on the day of my surgery because it's very early in the morning. I have to be there at 7:30 in the morning. The drive there is more than 1 hour. I have to wake up my little one, my 5-year-old, to take him with us because I would leave him with his sister, but if he wakes up and he doesn't see me or his dad around, he's just going to get panicked and scared, and we are thinking maybe his sister won't be able to calm him down. So we are just going to take him with us. So yeah, this is it. This is my life-changing event. It's a really big deal for me personally, because I've always been struggling with my weight, and like I just mentioned, all the things I went through because I was struggling with my weight. And also, when I was in adulthood, I managed to maintain a really good weight. When I came to this country, I was size 12. Size 12 for me is a normal size. In my country, size 12 is not. They say that you are fat, you are big, whatever. So that put me down. All of that put me down. However, when I came here, I was then I wasn't happy with the way I looked and my weight. Now I am happy with the way I was then. However, then I was still not happy. If you would ask my husband, I remember so well when he came to London after I went from Birmingham to London. It was in the middle of the summer, and I had to pick him up from Victoria train station, to pick him up, and so we can take another train to get to where I was living. And although it was the middle of the summer and it was hot, I was wearing a pair of trousers, a short sleeve top, and on top of that short sleeve top I was wearing a jacket in the middle of the summer, because I was so embarrassed of how my hands look, thinking that they are so big and so fat that I didn't want anyone to see my hands, my bare hands. That's how bad I was. That's how bad I was. And I was all sweaty, and seriously, my short sleeve top, I could squeeze the water out of it, of how sweaty I was, and I still never took that jacket off of me. That's how bad it was for me. That's how bad it was. And so over the years being here in the UK, I still managed to maintain my weight as I was, a size 12, until my second pregnancy. So in my second pregnancy, I've put on 15 kilograms, which I didn't manage to get off. Before I was pregnant the second time, I had an accident at work. When I used to work in Tesco, I had a slip and fall, and I damaged my coccyx, my lower back, and I could barely move at all, and it was always on and off for months, even years, because only after my second pregnancy I actually treated my lower back for years, and the pain would just come just like that all of a sudden, and I couldn't even move. I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't sit down on a chair, I couldn't take a step without being in pain. That added to all the activity that I previously used to do, and it affected me really badly. Then I had Caleb, my second pregnancy, and because of the heavy weight during pregnancy, I have pelvic problems, and I had pelvic problems. My pelvic floor is damaged completely from my second pregnancy. 6 months into my second pregnancy, I could barely get out of bed because of pain. I had to sleep with a pillow in between my thighs so that the pillow would support the weight of the pregnancy. And 6 months after having Caleb, I was still using that same pillow to sleep every night, because my pelvic floor was still in horrendous pain. Again, needless to say, I could barely move, I could barely do any normal activities. Over time, it got better. However, before getting pregnant the second time with Caleb, I received a letter from the NHS inviting me to go for a smear test, for a cervical screening, and I put it off. I kept putting it off because I said, oh my god, I hate doing any smear test, I hate it completely. So I kept putting it off. Then I got another letter, a reminder, I think it was more than 1 year later, inviting me again, telling me that I didn't go for my test. By that time I was already pregnant. They don't do smear tests whilst you are pregnant. So I said, okay, after I have my baby, I'll just go for a smear test. By that time we moved out of London. When Caleb was 6 months old, we moved here where we live now. And that's when I started looking into it. I said, okay, let me just try to settle this and just go for a smear test just to make sure everything is fine. So I went after Caleb, I think he was more than 1 year old, I think. I went for a smear test, and that's when they found some abnormal cells in my cervix, and those abnormal cells turned out to be cancer. So I had cervical cancer, for which I had a lot of procedures done, cone biopsy, colposcopies, and a lot of things. A part of my cervix was removed. I am still able to have children. However, it's not recommended for me to have children because it can lead to a miscarriage, an early term pregnancy, and disabilities in the baby. So I don't want either of that. Miscarriages are not nice and fun. I had miscarriages, and I wouldn't want that on anybody. It's not nice to have one, to say the least. So me and my husband, we both decided 2 kids are enough. I still have a part of my cervix left, which is fine because the cancer was in the early stages. However, because of my own stupid mistake and because I kept putting this thing off, now I have yearly appointments to go for screenings. In the first couple of years they were every 6 months, but now they are yearly. It involves having a smear test done, also having a sweep of the cervix and tissue removal, and then being sent for lab for testing to make sure that there's nothing abnormal anymore. When I found out I had cancer, when the consultant told me that I had cancer, as soon as I heard cancer, I just cancelled everything else that he told me. You know, it's like when you watch a movie and somebody talks and that person doesn't listen to anything, doesn't hear anything because they are so into whatever they are thinking about. That's how I was. The consultant told me it's cancer. Everything else that he said after, I didn't hear anything. My husband, he had to go back in and talk to him so the consultant can tell him everything that he already told me, which I didn't hear anymore. And when I first got the news, I said to the doctor, okay, thank you. I went out, my husband was waiting for me in the car. I got in the car and I told my husband, I have cancer. And then I said, I don't want to die. And that's when I found out I had cancer, I wasn't even 30. I was under 30 years of age. Now I'm 33. I was under 30. And I was thinking, oh my God, so young and to have cancer, and I have 2 kids, and what are those 2 kids going to do without me, growing up without a mom? So that's when I decided that I have to do something about my weight, because I was already at my heaviest. So I thought I was at my heaviest. I was, I think, I got up to size 20 by that point because of all the procedures I had done. Then the pregnancy, I couldn't shed the weight from the pregnancy, and I couldn't move as much as I wanted to from my previous injuries, and all these treatments that I had done for my cancer, they always stopped me from doing any hard work because I always had to take breaks of weeks and weeks in between after my treatments. And so that's how it happened. I started not eating healthy. I started not eating properly. Over time, I guess that my metabolism just didn't work properly anymore. No matter what I tried, exercising, always dieting, trying to eat healthy, over time, over the years, I've always been trying to do this. And if you think that I'm taking the easy way out, believe me, this is not the easy way out. This surgery is a life-changing surgery. This surgery is major surgery. They are literally cutting out a part of my stomach. So for people who say that people who do weight loss surgeries are taking the easy way out, believe me, it's not the easy way out. I don't know how would you feel like eating for the rest of your life 2 or 3 tablespoons of food. This will be my portion. My portion size will be 3 tablespoons of food. this is how the rest of my life is going to look like. But I would have this any day than having a heart attack or having diabetes, as the doctor, my GP already told me that I was at risk of a heart attack, I was at risk of diabetes if I keep on putting weight on, and no matter what I try, my weight goes down, goes up again, goes down, goes up again. Now I am at the heaviest I've ever been in my life, and I am a size 22, which is huge. I am short as well. I'm only 157 centimeters tall. I just got measured at the hospital when I went for my pre-op assessment. I'm very short, and to have that weight is not nice. It's not nice. It's not nice. And so this, honestly, this will be the best thing that's ever happened to me, apart from my kids and my husband, of course. And this will help me a lot in regaining my confidence and being, and just being more positive. Being more positive. You guys see me like this on videos because it's so easy to just speak in front of a lens, but I can't speak in front of people. I would be so shy. I would be really bad. At the back of my mind, there will always be, what is this person thinking about me? Is this person thinking I look fat? Is this person thinking I'm ugly? Is this person thinking, why do I even eat? Because there were so many people throughout my life telling me, oh, are you eating again? Oh, don't you see how fat you are? And these were usually Romanian people in Romania, because that's how Romanian people in Romania are. We are very judgmental people, which is horrendous and disgusting. I would have people shouting on the street, calling me names on the street. And whilst I was growing up, whilst I was still a kid, grown-up people shouting and calling me names on the street, whilst I was still a kid. So, yeah. And for all those bullies out there, you know, before you start bullying others, just think about the last-term effect this can have on someone. So if you guys have any other question, I poured my soul and my heart out in this video. I didn't want to make the video. I didn't want to say anything about any surgery that I am having done. For those of you who don't know, gastric bypass is actually a weight loss surgery where they cut out a part of your stomach to make a smaller space in the stomach so you eat smaller portions. People are asking me, do you eat a lot? No, I don't eat a lot. My husband always says, you're not eating enough. My sister always eats more than I eat, always used to eat more than I eat, but for some reason my body is burning this differently than others. And this is the problem. This is the main issue that I'm having. The surgery, I'm not paying for surgery. I don't have any money to pay for surgery. That's the truth of it. Some people are thinking that when you are a YouTuber, you make tons of money. Honestly, guys, trust me, I do not make tons of money. Do you know how much money I made this month on YouTube? I will show you a screenshot. I made 14 pounds in a month on YouTube. 14 pounds. And only the internet, which holds my YouTube channel, the internet that I'm paying for, is 50 pounds a month. Only the internet. So no, I'm not getting rich by having a YouTube channel. I'm not. If some people think that. The surgery is funded by the NHS because I cannot afford private surgery, and also because I qualified. For me to be able to qualify for this surgery, it took me more than a year and a half of waiting. There are very strict steps that you need to go through for surgery to be able to be funded by the NHS. First of all, you go through a weight management program with dietitians, with a psychologist if you need to, with physiotherapy, to make sure that you are working around eating healthy, and you have to prove to them that you actually can lose weight. So I had to prove to them that I can lose weight, and I lost the weight, which then I put again, so that again proved to them that I can't maintain my weight loss. I also had to stop smoking. I had to stop smoking at least 2 months before surgery. I stopped smoking more than 2 months ago. If I still would be smoking, I would be refused surgery. Now I am on a diet before surgery because it's a requirement, as I have to do a liver shrinkage diet to make sure that the surgeon doesn't have, any sort of obstruction when he does the surgery. So I am currently at 800 calories a day diet for 2 weeks, which will be ending on Sunday because on Monday I'm having the surgery done. But all I'm trying to say is not an easy process to get funded by the NHS. And believe me, if I would have money to pay for this privately, I would have done it ages ago, because who wants to wait so long? More than 1 year, more than 1 year and a half, because my very first appointment at the hospital was in March 2020, just before the pandemic. So yeah, it's more than 1 year and a half. So again, lastly, I'm going to say, honestly, I'm not taking the easy way out here, because it won't be fun for me to eat 2 tablespoons of food as one meal. It also won't be fun for me to see my kids eating sweets and me not being able to touch them for the rest of my life. So this is a risk that I'm taking. I'm happy to do it as long as it will make me healthy, and as long as it will make me live a healthier lifestyle and be there for my kids and see my kids grow up and be able to do activities with my kids, which this weight at the moment is stopping me to do that. I'm always miserable, I'm always depressed, I'm always it's no point to even get into that, because I don't want you changing your image of me as this very strong, very confident person. But I'm none of those things. I'm not. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I know I kept you so long, but I feel that you deserve an explanation, because you will be seeing changes. There will be sudden changes in, you know, my appearance. So I don't want you, you know, questioning. I just wanted to make this clear from the beginning. Thanks, guys. Bye.